Hello, and welcome to a walkthrough of Outreach Custom Objects. Now you can bring any CRM object you want, standard or custom, directly into Outreach. With that, you can bring new visibility to your teams and unlock new sales workflows using Outreach triggers on custom objects to help your sales team stay on top of deals and capture more revenue. In this video, I'll first demo the admin configuration and then the seller experience. For this demo, I'll use the campaign and campaign member objects as an example. You're likely using both to track how individual leads or contacts interact with your campaigns. And now you can bring this data directly into Outreach. To do so, I'll navigate to More Records, click on Custom Objects, and then I can bring in any custom object I want with this Create Object button. You can see that I've already created one for both campaign and campaign member. I've given my object a name and a description. I can also choose whether I want to add this to the main navigation of the platform. In this case, for campaigns, I do want this in my main navigation, so I've checked this box here. Next, I'll go to Fields and add all of the relevant fields on a campaign that I care about and think might be valuable for my teams to see in Outreach. You can see we support a variety of different data types for your fields, and you can also optionally mark them as a required field. I can also always customize the visibility of fields, and of course, you can set all of the right permissions to align with your governance model. I've also done the same for my campaign member object, where I've added a campaign lookup field and a prospect lookup field so I can associate my leader contact to a campaign. Now that I've created my Outreach custom objects, I want to navigate to my CRM sync page and sync the object I've just created with my CRM. This could be to Salesforce or to Dynamics, and it's pretty simple. Works just like any of the objects you've synced previously. You'll just want to add a mapping and then select the correct objects. For example, as you can see here, campaign to campaign and campaign member to campaign member. And of course, you'll want to map all of the fields you want to bring in. In the last step, we created these fields on the Outreach custom object, and now you'll want to make sure that you establish a mapping for those fields to sync with your CRM. With the mappings defined, the next thing I'll want to do is set up a historical sync job. This will pull in campaign and campaign member data from the past. Of course, any newly created campaign and campaign member data will be pulled in with the mappings that we just defined, but this historical sync job will pull in existing historical data as well. Now, up until this point, we've just brought this data from CRM into Outreach, but where this becomes even more powerful for your teams is by creating new triggers. Now you can create triggers based on this custom object data to create sales automations that will help your teams prioritize the right actions and the right touch points to keep deals on track. For example, you could trigger a sequence in Outreach for when a prospect has been associated with a specific campaign in your CRM. You can see here I've created a new trigger for one of my Dreamforce campaigns. And now I can set the trigger event based on my campaign member object. The idea here is that when a prospect gets added to a campaign, it will trigger an Outreach sequence. So with that in mind, the target object will be prospect. I'll go ahead and say this trigger only applies for my Dreamforce booth campaign. And then once you're happy with the configuration, we'll just select the sequence we want the prospect to get added to and then hit save. Now, every time someone becomes a campaign member in your CRM, it automatically updates an Outreach and they are put into our sequence. Next up, let's take a look at the seller experience to see how custom objects are driving value for your teams. Now we're in the front end of the platform, no longer in admin settings, and you'll notice that our custom objects are accessible right here under the main navigation, under More Records. And you can see here all my Dreamforce campaigns that are being pulled in. From here, you can also sort and filter on these custom objects and then save a new smart view so you can keep track of the campaigns that you care about most. I can also click into a campaign here and see the associated campaign members. From this page, you can then take action by selecting the relevant prospects. This switches your view to show you the prospects associated with a campaign rather than a list of just campaign member records. And now you can take action by dropping them into a sequence, or maybe I want to create a call blitz. I can create a one-off call task for this list of prospects. Now your sellers can get immediate visibility into how their prospects are engaging with targeted marketing efforts. You can also see this directly from the prospects page. On a prospect record, I'll also see campaign data now show up as a new tab across the top here. Now, when your sellers are referencing a prospect, they have access to this data directly within Outreach. But bringing in custom object data isn't just about more visibility. It also enables you to create new sales automations. Remember earlier how we set up a trigger as part of the admin configuration? Let's take a look at what this might look like for your sellers. Sophia, for example, has an active task. Here we're pushing our reps to follow up after she attended a happy hour. Doll Ripley, on the other hand, has been dropped into a sequence as part of the Dreamforce booth campaign. By creating these different types of triggers on custom objects, you can help reps prioritize the right actions to stay on top of deals and help capture more revenue. This brings me to the end of this video. Custom objects are live today in Outreach, so if you're an admin, give it a spin. Thanks so much for joining me today.